Our top story, the CBI has arrested a Russian national for questioning in the alleged tampering of the Joint Entrance Examination or JEE main case. The Russian national, identified as Mikhail Shargin, allegedly tampered with the software on which the exam was conducted. He also allegedly helped other accused in hacking the computer systems of suspect candidates during the exam. That's what sources have said. Mikhail Shargin was detained at the Delhi airport immigration upon arrival from Kazakhstan. Remember, a case was registered against a private company in 2021, that's last year, and it was during the probe the role of foreign nationals came to light.
Thing to say is that security is never 100%. So you can never guarantee that something will not be hacked or infiltrated. But of course, you can make it very, very difficult for hacking to happen. And from this story, it's very clear that much more needs to be done to ensure that question papers and those kind of things are kept in extremely secure and safe environments. And there are methods and ways by which it can be done. And I'm sure there will be lessons to be learned from what has happened to make sure it doesn't happen again, because the cost of it in terms of students' time, morale, and those kind of things is very high.
So India's premier exam was hacked 1 year on. A foreign hand has now emerged with a Russian citizen now in CBI net. But the bigger issue is the future of millions of aspirants. How can a government ensure a leak-proof or hack-proof testing system? How can we ensure that months of hard work and preparation that the students do doesn't go in vain? How can we build a robust testing system? Joining us to discuss this, N.S. Napinai, advocate of the Supreme Court and founder of Cyber Sathi. Dr. Neha Jagtiani, principal of RD National College, will join us in a short while from now. Also joining us is Anubha Srivastav Sahai, president of India-wide Parents Association. Thanks very much for speaking to Mirror Now this afternoon. Ms. Napinai, let me start with you. A Russian national has now been caught by the CBI, and our sources say that accused had allegedly tampered with the software on which the JEE was conducted and helped the other accused in hacking the computer systems of suspect candidates during the exam. Now, the NTA has an elaborate security system in place. There is biometrics, personal data is collected, live feed of camera is monitored. Exam computers are programmed to read cheating patterns. And yet this happens. How?
I have written, and I'll have to quote myself in this, and actually I drew from Kaffenberger when I said that there are only two kinds of systems. One that is hacked, and the other is hacked and you do not know that it has been hacked. It's not even, Rohit, like most of these systems are waiting to be hacked. You can put in all the protections that you want. And again, I would draw from the example of the Maginot Line. You can put in whatever protections you want, but all that the criminal needs is that wicked gate, that small gate that can cause the breach to a large fort, right? So that's the way it happens. In a way, I'm glad that this JEE issue has come to the fore, because these are not issues that are happening for the first time, but with the JEE investigations proceeding so well, the advantage that we get is that we are able to showcase the fact that it is possible for such violations to be detected, to be prosecuted, and eventually, once charge sheet is filed, to be punished. So these set the example, and these will also hopefully act as a deterrent whenever somebody thinks they can subvert systems.
Yes. Ms. Sahai, speak to us from the students and the parents' perspective. It's one of the most competitive exams in the country. What goes on in the minds of parents and students when you hear that such a hack has happened? What do parents tell their children?
Yeah, thank you, Rohitji, for having me here. And see, this is a very serious issue, and students have been complaining on various social media platforms, and that this year also some students have faced some technical glitches during the exam, and that is under investigation. And I got to know that some students have even filed complaint with the cyber police in Calcutta, Kolkata, and other cities. And we got to know that yes, something has happened even this year. So I think it is high time that government must intervene and take strict action, not only against the culprits who are involved, all those hackers, also against those students who are involved, even their parents. Everyone should be punished and put behind bars so that a precedent will be set that yes, you cannot tamper with the evidence, or you cannot get away so easily if you will adopt such malpractice during exam. So is precedent has to be set by the government. It's a good thing that they have arrested the hacker. And in the year 2020 also, we got to know that some people were involved in hacking the system during JEE exam. And also during NEET exam, such things have happened. So it's high time that government takes strict action against all those who are involved. And this will definitely set an example. And see, students suffer a lot because they are working so hard for these entrance exams. And they get hardly 2 attempts. These students hardly get 2 attempts for JEE. To crack JEE, you get only 2 attempts after clearing your 12th board exam. So this is not a one-time, this is not an exam where you can sit for 2, 3, where you can get 2, 3 attempts or maybe more attempts or unlimited attempts. They get hardly 2, 3 attempts, and then they prepare very hard since, I think, since 10th standard, 11th standard, students are going for classes, coaching classes and all. So I think it's high time that government intervenes and takes strict action so that the future of lakhs of students will be saved.
Dr. Jagtiani, let me bring you in this conversation. You know, the students who have put months of hard work, what are the options for them when such a leak or a breach is detected? And worse, as Ms. Napinai was saying, if it goes undetected, if there is a breach and it goes undetected, then the situation is even more grave.
Being an educator, I would like to say what Nelson Mandela said. Education is the most powerful tool that you can use to change the world. So technology is a boon as well as it's a curse. First of all, I'd like to congratulate CBI because they have shown such remarkable tenacity in detecting this crime and arresting this Russian mastermind. On the other hand, and it sends a very strong message to all mischief mongers or anybody who wishes to hack or get into resort to any unfair means. But looking at it from the student point of view, this also brings to fore the kind of enormous pressure which is there on students to prepare and crack these JEE main exams, by which they resort to such practices, unfair practices. I believe there's another institute which also helps in hacking and crack the students while they're writing the answers and helps them with the correct answers. So it shows that they would resort to any kind of unfair means to crack these kind of exams. And at the same time, one thought has to be given to the question papers, setters, the examiners who put in so many months of hard work to put together this examination, set the questions. And if you look at the students, the ones who have prepared with a lot of hard work, it's for them, the life has, for a year or two, their whole life comes to a standstill. They sacrifice their social life, their sports, their entire holistic development to crack these exams. So all this has gone futile for them. So we must put a thought to that as well. But overall, looking at the holistic picture, I think a lot of thought needs to go into how we can, in future, stop this kind of hacking so that there is no resort to any unfair means.
Yes, how we can stop this, we'll get into that in just a bit. But Ms. Sahai, let me bring you back. The stakes in these exams are very high. Is that the reason why students and parents are willing to pay lakhs of rupees to the hackers? Let's understand why is this happening in the first place, because these hackers operate because there are people who are willing to pay for it.
Absolutely. See, as far as the IITs are concerned, it's a very difficult exam to crack. JEE mains, many students crack JEE mains, but as far as advanced is concerned, it is very difficult. And in most of the colleges nowadays, your JEE score are considered. So that's why students, they resort to such means that when during the exam, they want to clear the exam by going through different kind of means. Like many students practice illegal means also. There are cheating which happen paper leak also happens during exam, not during JEE exam because it's an online exam.
Yes.
But online, but as far as NEET is concerned and other exams are concerned, a lot of paper leak happened this year also, last year also, since many years it is happening. So be it online exam or offline exam, students, they do resort to all this malpractice so that they can clear the exam. And it is the only way to seek admission in various NITs, various engineering colleges across India, which are the best, one of the best colleges in India. And it is very difficult to seek admission in IITs. And most of the colleges, private colleges, I would say, they charge a lot. So most of the students, as far as the engineering college is concerned, or even medical colleges are concerned, they try to seek admission in government college. And JEE and NEET are the only exams through which these students get admission in government college. And in India, in our country, there are very less number of seats in government college. That's why we keep requesting the government to increase more number of seats in government colleges, or provide some aid to private medical colleges and engineering colleges so that they can provide affordable education to our students. So if all these things will be managed properly, if all these things will be will be taken care of, and I think many students will get admission in private colleges also, even if we don't have sufficient seats in government college. A lot of things needs to be discussed by the and the government should take care of all these things. We can stop all because there are many colleges in our country.
All right. Yes. I got your point, Ms. Napinai. Should those who go for such illegal means, should they be made and accused in this case, or just be called as mere witnesses? I'm just trying to understand what would act as a deterrent over here for people to not to resort to such unfair means.
They would clearly be liable too. So, for instance, the students, the parents, everyone who is involved in this system, which is set up to subvert the processes, are all equally culpable. Often, Rohit, I have come across cases also not just at a high-level exam, even for class tests, class projects, etc. Nowadays, you have instances where at the instigation of parents or the service providers, work that is supposed to be done by a child or a student is being outsourced. Even these amount to a violation of sorts. Where, however, it crosses the line is when there is a criminality, a dishonest or fraudulent intent is involved. So when hacking, introduction of a computer contaminant or a virus attack, as in these instances, when all of these have taken place, and these have taken place at the instance of and for the benefit of students, clearly they're also liable. It is therefore very critical for all of them to know that they are not just subverting a school or a college process or an exam process. They are actually committing a criminal offense. Often they do not realize this, and they seem to make up excuses for themselves to seem to think that the pressure somehow justifies the means or the shortcuts that they are taking. Probably, if every parent and student knows that they are indulging in a criminal offense, then there is a higher chance of it acting as a deterrent. And in those instances, then you have saved some people from digressing. In spite of that, there will still be those others who will indulge in it. And for them, it is important for them to know that they can be tracked, they can be traced, and they can be prosecuted. And they also need to know what will be the consequences of such exposure, which is going to affect the child. Forget about the parents, forget about others in the prosecution. But a child is just about starting their life at that point.
Yes.
Has then been affected. So that awareness may be the best way forward.
Yes.
Awareness is the best way forward. Thanks very much, Dr. Jagtiani, Ms. Sahai, and Ms. Napinai for joining us. I'm afraid that's all the time we have for this discussion. Thanks very much for joining us, sharing your perspective on this rather important story. Thanks very much.